So, of course, I've come down here to my favorite spot down here by the lake. You know, sometimes I really feel like I am a creature of habit. I am, right? Not unless I have the pentacles that gave me more options to go a lot further. Okay, hold on. So, I'm sitting down here. I probably should get out and take a walk, right? But it's 57 degrees out there. It's kind of cold, right? And even though I know that taking a 10-minute walk is better than not taking any walk at all. So let me move down here and see if, I want to take a walk down here. Because I don't want to take a walk over here because there's a lot of shade over here. And it's a lot cooler in the shade. Okay? So, yeah. It would have been nice. It would have been nice to have some 60 and 70 degrees longer than a week or two. It would have been nice to have at least a month of that, 2 months of that, right? But nope. We would have been just too happy, right? It would be too much like California weather, having 60 and 70 degrees. Who do we think we are? Texas. And like I said, if you look on the globe, you'll see that, Texas is right along the alignment of California. It is. And that's why I thought, based on the placement, that it should definitely be a lot warmer. Kind of similar to, California, right? So what is this? Parks and Recreation are down here. They're down here having a powwow. Yeah, taking up all parking spots. So we're not gonna go there. Nope. What else? Still real congested. Not as bad as it was. Because I'm telling you, the way that it was, I thought I was gonna die. Okay? I thought I was gonna die. Couldn't breathe in, couldn't breathe out. It was horrible. Oh, I got a couple over here picnicking. Oh, that's nice. So I'm up here at this hilltop right here. Uh-oh. Did you see my palm? Did you see the M's that I have in my palms? Was you able to palm read? That's okay. That's okay. But this is a beautiful, beautiful view. Beautiful view. And you could even see the white birds over there that I keep wondering, can we eat those big ass birds? Can we eat them? Right? So, even though it's Wednesday, there's a lot of people who have off. We already know the children, wherever they're at, because they're not out, but wherever the children are at, they didn't have school this week. And I really ain't seen I have not seen that many children out and about. Not Monday and not today. Not even yesterday. So are people hiding the kids and hiding their wives because of the times? Could be. Could be. Yep. Definitely could be. So I really don't feel like getting out and walking. Hold on. They're layered. Oh yeah. Oh, and I want you to see how they're tearing down these apartment complexes. Okay? They're tearing these down. And I know we've talked about this, right? Where these people are like, oh yes, this is prime real estate. We could tear down these old buildings, and, rebuild, some affordable housing. Right? But you got to be careful, right? You really got to look into what this affordable housing, what tables they're using when it comes to affordable housing right after the statement that it's prime real estate. Okay? All right. Because to me, the two don't go together. Affordable housing on prime real estate, those two do not go together. So, my gosh, they got a line out here by this place called Humble Simply Good Pies. Ooh. Ooh. A whole line. Okay? I was going to take a picture of it, but I'm like, who cares, Because, honestly, as easy as it is to make pies, you don't need to go anywhere, even if they were giving the pie away for free. Okay? I mean, I don't. You can, but I don't need to. All right? So, yeah. So they got a whole line out there. So they must have had some kind of weird discount or giveaway, for Thanksgiving, and all you got to do is show up, right? But like I said, I don't know. If it was nothing but bunt, nothing but cakes, I might go there. If nothing but bunt had a Thanksgiving special where they were giving away free little bunts and all you had to do was show up, I'd show up. Their little bunt cakes are so good. So good. But I really wouldn't do that realistically today. Why? Because I have my apple pie pizza at the house. Yes, my apple pie pizza. Okay. Okay. decided to be disciplined. Okay? We're out here walking. We just started, right? And I keep telling myself, it's okay. It's okay to only do 10 minutes, right? And even if in my mind, I have to tell myself, I'm only doing 10 minutes and I might be doing more, right? The fact that I had to minimize it in my mind to say, it's only 10 minutes. You can do that. So yeah, out here. Okay. I'm definitely gonna have to go through my clothes to figure out what happened to all my warm clothing. Now, because, I spent most of the time, working in the warehouse whenever I got out of the house, and the work was so strenuous, right? On my days off, I didn't go out. I didn't do much at all. Much of anything, right? It was like 4 days of working out hard, right? The day afterwards, was recuperating, right? Then I had one day to actually do something. Then, the third day off, it was like psyching myself up and, generating some strength and getting focused on having to go to work for 4 days, working really hard, right? But at that time, Amazon, provided medical, okay? So, they had their own clinics. Amazon shared a whole clinic called Crossover with Apple. And I don't know if Apple decided they wasn't going to offer it, or even though the clinic was offered, a lot of people didn't take advantage of it, because if they had the medical, they would go ahead and use their own primary care doctors rather than use the clinic, right? It's so nice out. I'm telling you, it's nice. It's like it's been so long that I haven't been able to just enjoy being out and about by myself. Like I said, I used to bring the dog with me. Then I was bring both of the pitties with me, right? And it became so complicated. Okay? That, just getting out and walking around by myself is peaceful. Very peaceful. And the house is even more peaceful now that I done put them in the other room, the master bedroom. Right? I put them in the master bedroom. They have access to go outside. Right? And I don't let them in other parts of the house. And it's peaceful. I'm telling you, it's peaceful. Right? Because, they would be like, I don't know what the hell, fighting, wrestling, jousting, whatever you want to call it. and that used to get on my nerves. And sometimes, they got a little rough. They was knocking things down and stuff. And I'm just like, if you two don't stop, you're going to become outside dogs. And I mean, there's a lot of distance between where they were at and becoming outside dogs. But that was like way out there in the future if you keep on this trajectory. Anyway. Whew, my legs hurt. Oh. After I bench pressed the 120 pounds, it was no problem today bench pressing 140. I mean leg pressing. Right? But right now, my legs are like, yeah. They feel it. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? There's a song called Can You Feel It? Yeah. Old school song. Look at these young people. What the hell are they doing? Weird. Beautiful fountain over here. Isn't it beautiful? It looked like they lost something in this pond. Yeah, it looks like they littered the pond. Anyway, yeah. But like I said, all of the other equipment that I got on, I did not go under 90 pounds. So I didn't do a lot of reps or anything like that. I just wanted to do it. Okay? How beautiful. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my God. So they're calming down now that we have separate spaces. We both can seem like we're happy in a way. Not the puppy. The puppy is not happy because the puppy is wanting to be in the middle of everything. Right? Sometimes, she'll cry a little bit like, can we come into your room? I'm like, nah. Y'all ain't learned your lesson yet. He can't come in. till you learn your lesson. And of course, she's a puppy and she's like, what lesson? So I think she is learning, a little bit, or maybe it's just maturity, where, she's not jumping up on me and being rough about it. A couple of times, she kind of jumped on me, but she was careful. She was so careful about it. And what I mean is, like, they could jump on you and then land on your body with both paws, right? Both front paws. Or when she's gentle, she kind of uses her front paws and kind of climb up rather than just hit me with both paws. So maybe she's learning the difference of the effects of her own paws. I don't know. Hope she is. I hope she is. But I did see this gray pitty, but that one was more like a bulldog. That was more of a pit bull bully. It was more like a bully, right? And I'm really hoping that Gracie doesn't come out like that. And like I said, bulldogs they're not the worst. They're not. I would be disappointed if she turned out to be a bully. So, yeah. I should stop off and see if I can buy some soy sauce. Because I don't know if those little packets were soy sauce, because they wasn't liquid enough to be what I think soy sauce is. This was more like, I don't know, maybe a teriyaki sauce of some sort. That's how thick it was. A thick teriyaki sauce. But I think my fried rice will only taste good if I have some soy sauce. And that's what I plan on making. I plan on making some salmon patties, right, that I have to doctor up so that they taste good and they got lots of protein. And some fried rice. So that I can make sure that I use the bean sprouts that I got from the pantry food hall, and the eggs that was donated by Chick-fil-A. And it's quite a bit of eggs, right? I would say, if I was to guess how many eggs was in the little frozen packet, I would say at least a dozen. At least a dozen scrambled eggs was in that that frozen packet. I don't think I'm gonna need that much to put inside the fried rice. So I should probably prepare the fried rice ahead of time, and then you know, what I don't need for the fried rice, you know, I can eat for breakfast. Because I haven't had breakfast yet. What time is it? 2:30? No, I haven't had breakfast yet. So lately, the way I've been eating is I'll have my protein shake for breakfast. Then I'll have like a late lunch around 3 or 4 o'clock. And then I'll have dinner, you know, like 8 or 9 o'clock. And I know that sounds weird, but that's the way it's been going. Alright, and depending on how late I stay up at night, you know, you're talking about having a snack, a sandwich or something at 1 o'clock in the morning. Right? And I'm saying it not because I'm thinking that that's the way it should be, but that's just the way it is. That's what's been going on. And the broker that I feel about it, the more unhealthy my choices become. Right? Because, you know, unhealthy choices in America happen to be the cheapest. The cheapest foods are the most unhealthiest foods in America. Right? And that also has certain connotations that go with it. Right? We don't have the same perspective in a lot of these areas where, oh my gosh, you know, having beans and rice is healthy, is a healthy choice, and you know, you should be thankful that you just have it. We don't have that mindset that, you know, potato soup is so warm and filling, and it's also economical. We don't. Right? We take, you know, our climate for granted, that, you know, we'll be provided, you know, food all year round. Why wouldn't we? Oh, we wouldn't, because our subsidized farmers, our homesteaders, are selling food abroad for profits. Okay? And the internet has made it to where they are able to contact these people. Right? I'm telling you, back in 2020 or 2019, right? I had contacts with India because I wanted natural hair, right? And I was able to contact them, and I had gotten some good deals on the natural hair that I never could find here, because by the time it gets here and they market it and everything, you know, the price inflated from, you know, $30 to $150 to $300. I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it, right? You had people online talking about, you can get this human hair for $1,200. Okay? But, you know, we'll never know how much they paid for the hair. Right? We'll never know that the $40 that they paid, you know, overseas to get that product, and if they bought in bulk, then they were probably only paying like $30. Okay? So that's part of the reason why so many people were mad when Trump threatened the tariffs. Right? And even TikTok, kind of like Etsy and Pinterest and stuff, they all had been selling, okay, and Wix, all of these platforms, they were selling products online using their platforms. Okay? Every last one of them. And it's not a problem selling online. It's not. The problem is when you don't contribute to the government of each country, okay? You have to contribute to the country that you're dealing with, and you have to contribute to the country that you're living in. Because they will start getting an imbalance. And that imbalance starts to look like gentrification. Right? And nobody likes gentrification. Because a lot of people get taken down, especially the locals. The locals get taken down with gentrification because they don't have the means to buy foreign resources. Okay? They don't have the means to do that. They are still stuck in the old standards of their country before, you know, people started doing international businesses without international licenses and safeguards, right? A lot of them knew that they were doing something wrong, and some of them didn't know they were doing something wrong. Okay? Because, like, the different requirements, the different safety requirements, the FDA here in America, right? And these other countries may not have any safeguards in place, right? The standards were different than America's standards. And the introduction, you know, was complex, that people didn't know that they were getting a knockoff. Whew. Right? They were getting a cheaper version of the product than, you know, they would have typically got had it been, you know, made and created in America. So thank God we did that walk. We feel so much better that, you know, we were disciplined enough to do the walk. Okay? It was a little chilly, but the walk, it did loosen up some of my leg muscles. Yes, it did. So they don't hurt now. So that's good. I still want to buy some soy sauce before I go home. Then I was watching this other video that was talking about like Chick-fil-A, right? Because this guy was on a carnivore diet and he bought some chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A, not the one with the bread on it, right? But he wanted to know, you know, all of the ingredients. I think I'm gonna go to Aldi's rather than go to Winco for the soy sauce. I don't know why, but I just wanted to. Okay. And like I said, I've already made the rice. And the rice is in the refrigerator. Oh yeah, I wanted to get the soy sauce and some frozen peas and corn to throw into the fried rice. And maybe some green onions. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted. That way, it would taste really good. And even if I make too much, I can freeze it and eat it at another day. And in my mind, I was like, "Ooh, yeah, is it gonna be shrimp fried rice? You're gonna buy some little baby shrimp? The shrimp that I have are prawns. They're big. Okay, they are not the type of shrimp that you would put into fried rice." I was looking at this video where this girl went to go get some Chinese food, and she was disappointed that she was getting like baby prawns. She's like, "Why do I got baby prawns in my shrimp fried rice?" And that's typical to have baby prawns. Some places they will give you medium-sized shrimp, right? That truck is all over the middle line of the line. And I was just thinking of complimenting the truck for even working today, the day before Thanksgiving. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go and see about getting the soy sauce, some frozen vegetables. Now I have some canned vegetables, but canned vegetables, it doesn't taste good in fried rice. Right. Canned vegetables don't taste good at all anyway. Okay? Okay. But there are going to be people out here eating canned green beans with some canned mushroom soup and some canned fried onions as a part of their Thanksgiving dish, right? They call it bean casserole, green bean casserole. And then also I was thinking I should buy some little pepperonis so that I could possibly make some pizza later on with some of the stuff that I got. Since I got some pizza dough. I got some pizza dough. Right? And I got another pack of pizza dough. Those miniature cupcake pizzas, I would be so happy. I would be happy. Oh my God. Looks like there's a lot of people here. What are they doing here? Yeah, there is a lot of people here. Too many cars out here. Too many cars out here for me to believe that there ain't that many people here. Too many people here. Too many people here. So maybe Winko is the option. Yeah. my book, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Right? Even if they say, women aren't supposed to be in the workplace. Motherfucker, I am not in the workplace. I'm out here living. And y'all don't want no women over the age of 30, so let's just keep it real. We might as well put women over the age of 30 and men who can't control their dicks on disability. That's the world they want. Did I say that? Yeah, I said it and I meant it. And these young men are steadily informing us that the older men are telling them that women over 30 and definitely women over 40 have no value in the population, right? And we don't talk this way. Women, we don't generally talk this way at all, right? Because we don't live with the mind frame of leverage, power, control, and placing a value on everything, okay? Even though we know that there's values on everything, we don't place it on everything because, we should value everything accordingly. Right? And if we were to do that, we would definitely commence that with the men that we date, the men that we have children with. Then we would even have a whole hierarchy with the children that we give birth to. Right? And there are women out there that do that because they will follow this system that men utilize, to maintain and gain leverage over others. Because that's all this system is a system that gains and maintains, power and authority over others who aren't playing the game. They're not playing the game. Because if they were playing the game, then they would create their own value system, right? They will have their own chart and schedule of their hierarchy in place, right? And if you have your own value system in place, solidified with a tangible chart, can't nobody tell you shit. Can't nobody tell you shit. But a lot of people, they don't have their own. They adopt what's accepted by other people or what has been passed down to them by their family members. Right? So the average person, they'll accept the religion of their family because they were raised in that type of, they seen that religion was honored by their parents, even though they didn't do the research or anything to find out if the religion of their parents, was acceptable to them as to adopt as their own religion, right? So it just seems to me, we need to inform every child that comes into the world. It's your responsibility to find your personal religion that's going to help you to become your best and highest self and allow you to get to know yourself. Also, get to know the universe and understand all of the different spirits in the world, in our universe. Right? Hold on. So as I was going through this construction zone, right? They've been doing construction on the major highway here for 2 to 4 years right now, right? And I am just wondering, even though these guys, are steadily getting, work and income, right? And other people are not, right? How are they going to feel knowing that, they're the only people who are out here actually working hard, to make a living? Right? I mean, at some point, that sense of, entitlement that I'm working this job, and we're making money every day, and yet, after a while, they start seeing that, my gosh, these people are still living out here, even though they're not working hard like them every day. They may not, have a heavy duty fancy truck. Damn, the stores are crowded. Ah, shit. I'm gonna go in here and see if I can still buy soy sauce. Right? Because I really want to make this fried rice. And it won't taste like fried rice unless it has soy sauce. It just won't. So, because I did like a food pantry haul, right? I started getting some food pantry haul videos on my algorithm. And some of them kind of like blew me away, because you'll have these people boast about how, they're going to 3 and 4 food banks in a day. Okay? And they're trying to tell the audience, ain't no shame, and going, hitting up 3 or 4 food banks in a day. Right? But the issue is, are you a needy person? Right? This one lady, she went to a food bank. She went to 3 food banks in one day, right? She was getting meat, eggs, big packets of fruit, and powered protein drinks, and, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, I mean, wow, right? On each and every haul, right? And I'm thinking to myself, that's great if you really need it. How great is it if you're just stockpiling? If you're just hoarding food because you can, right? Then how would you feel if, say, next year, now you don't have a place to even hoard food like that? Because you had a place, you decided, you was going to hoard a whole bunch of food, right? And the reason why I said that is because there was this one lady, she came online, right? She came on my algorithm, and she was like, we're buying our homestead, and we put in an offer, it's 1,600 feet, 1,600 square feet, but it doesn't have a basement. We need a basement. And she was showing why she needed a basement. She needed a basement so that she had room to store all this food that they felt like they needed, right? So they're in a contract for a 1,600 square foot home. And then she said, well, we can have this detached shed over here, and we can turn that into the pantry, and they also have 3 acres of land, right? And my mind was like, that definitely is high criteria, right? Your criteria is up here. We need at least 3 acres. We need to have a basement full of food in our pantry. Right? And why do I say it's up here? Because there are people out here who are living in tiny homes. There are people out here who are living in 600, 700 square foot studio apartments. Right? But these people are going to get prime real estate. Right? Cheaper. Because they're going to classify it as a homestead. Now, my daughter, she dated a guy, and he had the audacity to come meet me, right? And didn't think that, I would let things slide until you get on my bad side. Once you get on my bad side, it ain't gonna slide. All right? So he came up there talking about, yeah, he got charitable farmland, right? He got a nonprofit farmland designation, and out in rural Texas, right? And I'm looking at him like, yeah, that seems kind of like over and beyond your knowledge and expertise, right? Because I'm asking questions. Are you a farmer? You're like, nah, he ain't a farmer. But he already got the land. Right? He's already designated as a nonprofit landowner. Right? And I'm like, that's so clever. Right? Do you do agriculture? No, but he's gonna learn how to do it, because that's his destiny. I'm like, right? So then, I asked him, I said, well, how far out are you? So he had told me what county he was in. I'm like, okay. Right? So this dude is walking around here like, he's untouchable, right? He don't have to work when he don't want to work. He can just be a farmer, live off of the land, like the world is his oyster. And I'm like, that's cool. It looks kind of beautiful. You making it look kind of beautiful, right? However, I still don't understand how you get your money. Right? Because my daughter had met this dude at work, and he was doing like pharmacy tech. Or data entry or something. I don't know. But either one of those jobs, you're really not going to be getting paid more than $25 an hour working with, a great firm, a great corporation. I'm telling you, this store is so busy. I'm really reluctant on even going in this store. Even though I feel like I cannot make fried rice without soy sauce. It's impossible. And I don't want all of this and all of these people in my way. So I'm just not going to go in. I'm not going to go in. Right? I don't know if these people are like last minute holiday shoppers, right? Because not only is it a holiday, but, you have family tradition. You have family that might come by and visit. Because why? It's Saggy season. Okay? It's Saggy season. And Saggy likes to travel. The spirit of Saggy likes to travel. And if you're out here traveling, it will be so nice to be, in a hospitable situation where, you can travel. And also, get some good food, have a good time, and then move around. So I could probably go to this Dollar General and get some soy sauce. I think that's what I'll do. I can go to Tom Thumbs. I know Dollar General will have some frozen foods also. They'll have the frozen foods, frozen vegetables that I'm looking for, the frozen mixed vegetables. I ain't gonna do it. Let me go home. Let me take my ass on home. Right? And there's just too many people out and about. It's getting on my nerves. yeah, there's even a lot of people. No, there's not a lot of people at the Dollar General. There's none. But just thinking about it, right? Like, oh, you can go to the Dollar General and pick up some soy sauce and some frozen vegetables. And it just made me think about just how unhealthy, even though it's going to be good, that this, fried rice is going to be. And even though I'm thinking I need the fried rice, I might not need the fried rice. Because I did use sesame oil when I was cooking the rice. Right? And that gives it a whole different flavor. Whole different flavor. Maybe I can find out what those little packets are. Those little packets are fried or soy sauce, or a type of teriyaki sauce, Chinese teriyaki sauce. Yeah, we need to find out. We need to find out what those packets are first. Because I got to use the bathroom too. Ain't no way I'm gonna go in the store knowing that I got to go to the bathroom and have patience with all of these people at the store. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. So I'm gonna take my ass home, go to the bathroom, see what those packets are that I got from the food bank, because it could be soy sauce. Could be. And if it is soy sauce, I don't think they're gonna pick up the garbage tomorrow. I really don't think they're gonna pick up the garbage tomorrow. Okay, I did try out the little packets just in case. It was soy sauce, and it's definitely salty enough to be used as soy sauce, even though it seems kind of thick. So the soy sauce definitely can be used in cooking. So I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go to the store. I'm just not. Okay? I'll take my ass home.